Shalom and hello. This is J. Rivka Asulin. This is my little one, also saying hi. J. Rivka Asulin, founder and executive director of Ancient Roots Israel. I always like to mention this because you are part of the Ancient Roots Israel community if you're joining these plant walks. Because we're putting them together. If you see in the group description, this is sponsored by us, the Ancient Roots Israel community. And we do have an annual conference. We had our first annual conference last year in February. Our next annual conference is coming up January 26th through 28th, 2021, 5781. And I am actually making my video ahead of time for this just because I wanted to catch this plant while it's in flower, and I wanted to present it with mustard, which is not in my yard, which is going to require some finagling. But the first thing I want to do is I want to get you outside, and we're going to roll up the sleeves to the elbows, and if you can, uncover your hair if you're able in your yard, even just for a few minutes, or roll up your pants, hike up your skirts and expose as much of your body as you can to the sun. Just kind of take off your glasses if you've got them. Just let that vitamin D get into your body. Just 15 minutes a day of vitamin D is all you need to build and maintain a healthy immune system, which is so important during these corona days and every day. So the first thing that I want to show you today is a really special herb, which is also prolific here in Israel. And it's got some amazing medicinal qualities. I will tell you about different healings that I've used this for that are just mind-blowing. But the plant we're going to look at today is called shepherd's purse. Okay, so there is one of my princesses coming into the shepherd's purse patch. We're going to come back over here again and take a look. Shepherd's purse, the leaves, the leaves of shepherd's purse, can vary in size. Honey, you're going to have to not hold on to my neck. I'm going to show you the base of this plant. Hang on. Okay. So here we go. Here's some of the leaves at the bottom. Okay, they're not very big. Look at them in relationship to my finger. We're going to move up the stem. Okay, not very big leaves. I'm going to pluck this leaf right now so we can get a closer look. Okay, pretty smooth with that kind of papery feel. If you look really close, you can see it's kind of hard to do this. I have a monkey on my back. My princess is now a monkey. So I don't know if you're seeing some of those peekaboo, some of those very fine hairs. Can you see those? So that's what's giving it its soft appearance, texture in my hand. Hang on, sweetie pie. Here we go. Ooh, where is it? So I'm just trying to give you the shape of that leaf. Okay, for me, looking at the leaf is not going to do it for me. I'm not going to be able to identify this based on the leaf, especially because the leaves are kind of so much further down the plant. As you come up, there's something that's such a distinguishing characteristic here. And that is, do you see these little hearts? Okay, look at that. It's like a sea of hearts. You see that? Those are seed pods. They're little hearts. Okay, that's how you know that you've got shepherd's purse. It's supposed to look like the purse of the shepherds that the shepherds would wear out in the fields. To me, they're little hearts because in my mind they save lives. They can stop a hemorrhage dead in its tracks. And hang on, let me pluck one for you. Okay, so I plucked 3. You can pop those in your mouth and eat them. They've got a bit of a peppery taste. I think they're also called poor man's pepper for that reason. You can toss a few of those in salads. It's no problem. And I want to show you the flowers. This one is not so amazing. Hang on. This one's a little bit better. Oh my gosh, you guys. Can you see those teeny, teeny, tiny little flowers? I mean, here's my thumbnail. And I have really small hands. So, you know, that's a teeny little flower. I don't even know how well you can see it. But there's like a little cluster of these teeny tiny flowers at the top. Here's some that are closed and about to open. We've got some that are kind of past their prime. This one has lost its flower at the top, and a bunch of the seed pods have fallen off, and it looks like these little spikes sitting here. This is in the mustard family. So my hope and intention is to show you this at the same time I show you mustard, provided I can find mustard within 100 meters of my house, or whatever the rules are at the time that we air this. Okay. Shepherd's purse is used as a tea, and my experience is that it has a more mild action as a tea. It probably has to do, this plant, I think menstruum is everything, because if you're eating it plain, it's not going to be a powerful medicine. It's more like food. Obviously, I wouldn't eat this in huge quantities, but as a little snack or a garnish to something, it would be fun. And as a tea, people have recommended that women use it to shorten their cycles, especially in cases of halachic infertility. I don't. I have other things that I think are better and safer for that. But what I like to use it for is in a tincture. And it's super, super easy to tincture, right? Tincturing is just kind of picking these, putting them in a jar, pouring some alcohol, 50% alcohol, 50% water is ideal. A lot of the vodkas you get in Israel are 40 to 60%. That's fine too. And then you leave it in your jar covered in the vodka, and at least 6 to 8 weeks. Shake it up every now and again when you think about it, just to keep things moving. But the great thing is that, and here's another interesting thing. Here's some interesting factoids. Tinctures usually last indefinitely, or you can tell when they go off by a smell or whatever. But shepherd's purse, because I use it in life or death emergencies, I try to make a new tincture every year. And if my tincture's been sitting around for, some people say, for more than a year, just toss it. For me, maybe 2 years. Okay. But more than that, and if it smells off for any reason, toss it. No good. I tincture the fresh plant, of course. And here's a little patch of them. I don't know if you can see them everywhere. I'm just going to run my hand through while I'm talking. So as the tincture, I have used these in my own home births, both assisted and unassisted, to deal with postpartum hemorrhage. So if you've got a mother, or you're giving birth, or you're giving birth at home, or because you choose to, or because it's an emergency situation, or because it's simply safer to do so during Corona times, it's safer to do so at any time, and we can have a debate about that if you'd like, privately. But if you've got a mother who's having a postpartum hemorrhage, typically Pitocin is administered at a hospital. But if you administer a dropper full of this tincture under the tongue of the mother, you can stop that hemorrhage within minutes, sometimes within seconds, within a minute. If it's not working, go ahead and give her a second dropper full. If I, am losing a lot of blood, I'll take 2 dropperfuls at one time. Because I certainly was prone to postpartum hemorrhages. I have 7 children, and it doesn't get easier the older you get and the more children you have in that way. So, yeah. And, I've only ever heard of 3 times needing to administer, so 3 droppers full. I've never heard of needing to use more. And, basically you wait 3 to 5 minutes, before administering the second dropper full. And if your lady's still bleeding, give her 5 minutes after that. If she's still bleeding, give her another dropper full. If she's still bleeding or whatever after that, obviously you're going to be calling for help and seeking medical care. It's normal to bleed after birth. you know, so bleeding is one thing, but a huge loss of blood, if you're trained to know what that looks like, you should be able to stop that postpartum hemorrhage within minutes. It certainly always worked for me. It's worked for women that I've recommended it to in emergency situations, any hemorrhage situation. We had a child who had some rectal bleeding that was mysterious. No one knew where it was coming from, but it was just profuse. And, you know, I think we administered 2 dropperfuls of the tincture. And it stopped a hemorrhage that had been going on for, you know, somewhere around 9 hours. It stopped it immediately. Good goodness, what are you kids doing? So very potent medicine in that way. I don't use it for halakhic infertility. You know, as Wise Woman Fertility, I am a holistic fertility consultant. I help women using the fertility awareness method and herbs to overcome infertility. You know, shepherd's purse is not something that I would recommend as a standard treatment for this sort of thing. I think its action is too powerful, but it certainly in a first aid situation. It's also used as a, you know, in wound care, a bloody nose, this sort of thing. So here we go. Here's some erodium right next to it. You know, here's the base of it. Obviously these have been chewed up a bit, but yeah, I'm really, really happy to be able to show this to you while it's in flower. And, you know, some hairs there. I don't know if you can see it. My screen's kind of dirty. Let me move out of the way. Little bit of hairs. Sparse hairs. Oh my goodness. There you go. Okay. And we're just following it up the stem. Okay, it's branching off, as you can see, with these little spiky things. And, you know, these ones here don't have the hearts. Okay, but that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those hearts right there to positively identify. Wild edible, medicinal, in the mustard family. Okay, so this is the mustard companion video to the shepherd's purse. I am at a recycling here. I'll give you, this is what we have to do to get out of our houses now. I need some kind of reason to leave, and that's my son putting away the recycling. It's a bit backed up here, you can see, but I knew we'd find some mustard plants here because look at this place. It's all disturbed. I mean, there's some mustard. There's some mustard. There's mustard over there with a bunch of Venus comb, which we can talk about another time. What's up, mustard? Okay, so really quickly, so I don't get arrested. Ooh, look, I found another plant here. Okay, sorry. Mustard, I'm going to give you some close-ups here. I can even spot it without the flowers now, but these are the flowers. They're pretty simple flowers. You see those little, oh, let me get it on the back of my finger here. Hang on. Can you see that? It looks like the shepherd's purse that's missing. Hang on, let me clean the camera. No, it looks a little, it's like faintly reminiscent of those little spikes. It's not spikes, but you know, the shape on the shepherd's purse, on the ones that don't have the purse on it, the heart-shaped purse. Same kind of vibe. And the leaves, there's 2 main species that I've noticed, and I don't know their Latin names. I haven't bothered to look yet. In Israel, one has a more rounded. Oh, here, wait, we might have one here. See how this one's more pointy? It's kind of more pointed. And then I'm just looking around because here's another one. This one looks a bit more rounded to me and has some more raised hairs. Can you see that? Can you see those raised hairs? Ooh, they're a little bit pokey. There you go. You can see that on the leaf. And here on the stem, of course. Here you go, those flowers again. So beautiful. And then I'm going to get this other leaf for you. And yeah, it's more smooth. It doesn't have those raised hairs. I don't know what that means. I haven't looked it up. I mean, it does, but well, it does. But this one looks like it has less. Or maybe this is the same one and I didn't get two different species here. But either way, one seems to have a bit more of a mild flavor than the other, which is much sharper. It's all edible. You can eat the flowers. You can eat these leaves right here. You could probably eat the stems. I never have. Look at that. We've got some asparagus behind it. And here's some asparagus leaves for you. You see these guys? Ooh, they're pokey. But maybe we'll identify that another time, unless I see an asparagus actually sticking up around here, which I don't right now. Well, anyway, you'll remember the leaves if I find one of those. But right, so I'll tell you one thing I've done. You can eat these, of course, in a salad. People say the younger the plant, the better. I don't know. I like eating the older leaves. They're just fine for me. One thing I have done with them is when my son was having trouble breathing, he was having some lung problems several years ago. I actually, and this was in season, I took a bunch of the leaves, and I might have taken flowers too, although flowers will give things a mustardy stain. Oh, by the way, the seeds are used to make mustard, and also you can make mustard from the flowers, the condiment mustard. But anyway, I'll let you Google recipes for that. I've never done it myself. But I basically made a poultice. I ran just the aerial parts through the blender. I can't remember if there were flowers or not, but no worries. And I just applied this, smeared this all over his chest, a poultice, and then I put a hot towel over it. And I had him lay there with the hot towel on. And once the towel started to cool, I got a new hot towel and just, gently lifted up the towel I had on it first. You could even put a piece of saran wrap or something between the towel and the mustard because it will get messy. And then put another one on. Of course, no one likes to use plastic if they don't have to. So you can come up with, you can just let things be messy, or kind of, if it gets caught on the towel, peel it off and put it back on. And then just apply those hot towels over it to create a hot mustard pack for breathing problems. You can inhale it. You could drink this as a tea, I'm sure. Have an inhalation. I always love that inhalation idea where you make your tea and then you just, instead of putting a saucer on top to cover it, you put your head on top and throw a towel over your head and just inhale those volatile oils while it's brewing. And then you drink the tea. All those things would be able to help with respiratory illness. And of course, eating the leaves. You could probably make a mustardy pesto. If you do that, give me a recipe and let me know what other stuff you put into it. So you can see, again, the stems, they have a bunch of hairs like this. I'm just going to follow it up the stem. I mean, here's a nice thick stem. And there's these little tiny leaves. They're all tasty, in my opinion. Oh, something in the pea family. Okay. So following up the stem, it branches off. It's got these hairs. This stem is very hairy. Okay, and then the branches that come off, a little bit less so. Mustard. Isn't that a great plant? Just wonderful. Just wonderful.